Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Will, and one thing you'll observe from being on the internet is there's always some form of drama lurking somewhere on the internet. Frankly, there's just always something to talk about and always something to discuss. There was the drama of all the children always running loose in the Sephoras and just like wreaking havoc in the Sephoras. There was the drama after she was released from prison of everybody hating on Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her husband with the supposed fire D, but nobody could bring her down. Whatever the fuck the whole Willy Wonka situation just was, there's always a lot of drama to talk about, but today I wanted to discuss cereal. So I just wanted to say for the record, at the time that I'm filming this video, I haven't really seen a whole lot of stuff about this on the internet. It hasn't gotten to the point where it's come across my For You page on TikTok yet, but I'm sure by the time this video is out, it'll already have been done, discussed, and everything, because that's just how the internet works. But I'm gonna talk about it anyways. Everybody knows that in this day and age, it costs a fortune simply to just exist in this world, and especially because of inflation, it is incredibly hard for some people to just be able to put dinner on the table at night. The prices of everything has just skyrocketed in recent years. But one company decided to offer their helpful 2 cents and give some advice on what to do if you're struggling to put dinner on the table and struggling to afford your bills. Eat cereal for dinner. Now, most people at least know of the brand Kellogg's. It's a relatively popular, well-known brand that produces many different types of cereals, you know, Corn Flakes, Frosted Flakes. I don't really need to detail everything they have. Most people pretty much already know. About a year ago, the company launched a commercial which promoted the idea of having cereal for dinner.
I say cereal, you say dinner. Cereal!
Dinner!
Cereal!
Dinner!
As it could be seen in the commercial, Tony the Tiger popped up and suggested that chicken take the night off and that people have cereal for dinner. And I don't think the commercial in itself was really that terrible. I mean, cereal for dinner isn't necessarily always the greatest idea, but I'll be honest, I've definitely had cereal for dinner before. I'm pretty sure everybody has. But it was the comment that the CEO of Kellogg's made just a few weeks ago that really warranted all of the backlash against the company. The CEO of the company is a multimillionaire named Gary Pilnick, and he took his suggestion to have cereal for breakfast and started discussing it as a way to help people who are struggling financially, describing his cereal as a more affordable option for people to have.
The cereal category has always been quite affordable, and it tends to be a great destination when consumers are under pressure.
Obviously that warranted a lot of backlash because instead of focusing on the real issue at hand, which is the financial struggle that a lot of families go through, Gary just simply sat there and used it as an excuse to try and make a profit for his company. Ultimately, trying to chalk up people's financial struggles is just a fun little thing and an excuse to have cereal for dinner. Because who cares if I'm drowning in debt and can't pay my bills? At least there's cornflakes on the table at night, right? The whole statement in itself is ironic though, because as with everything else, the prices of cereal has also gone up in recent years. And of course, Gary is a multimillionaire who's not at all struggling to put dinner on the table for his family, and he's not picking and choosing what bills he can and can't pay. And of course, Gary is a multimillionaire, so he doesn't currently understand the struggle that a lot of people are going through. He's not struggling to put dinner on the table. He doesn't have to decide between dinner and paying his rent. But that's alright, because at least us peasants have the privilege of having his products, right? I am honestly so sick and tired of rich people who literally could not be further away from Earth and just cannot even begin to grasp the fact that there are some people in the world who are struggling and not exactly like them. Listen, if you're rich and able to live a luxurious lifestyle, by all means, you do you and you enjoy that. I'm not saying that rich people shouldn't be able to enjoy the things that they have and do the things that they enjoy. But where the issues are and why so many people resent them is because almost every single rich person I encounter just seems to be an insensitive prick, rubbing their wealth in the faces of others, not giving a fuck how anyone else is doing. I remember when gas prices were really skyrocketing and it was really hard for a lot of people to even just be able to afford gas to drive places, and someone I know made the comment that, oh, well, it just went up a few bucks. Sure, just a few bucks. A few extra bucks that could have gotten something more at the grocery store. A few extra bucks that could have contributed to paying a bill. a few extra bucks that for people living to paycheck might make the difference between being able to pay rent or not. I'm glad that there are some people who don't have to worry about things like that, but it's sad when there are people who can't even realize how things affect other people differently. Just because a few bucks doesn't make a difference to them doesn't mean that it doesn't make all the difference to somebody else. Besides the fact that Gary's statements about having cereal for dinner were just downright insensitive, there's also the fact that cereal isn't even the most affordable option that people could be having. Especially when you take into account other factors such as the price of milk that you'd buy to go with said cereal, how many people are in the household consuming the product, stuff like that. Depending on the size of the cereal box, especially from this brand, it can go up to $10 or more for a box of cereal. For example, available from my local Walmart online, I was able to find a giant 37-ounce box of Raisin Bran, which retailed for $9.78. And assuming that you would follow the serving suggestions on the back of the box, which, let's be honest, I don't, but let's assume that you do, it's intended to have about 18 servings. Sure, maybe if you were a single person with that box of cereal, theoretically it could last you through several dinners, but that doesn't mean it should. And that also doesn't mean that that would last very long if it was a family of multiple people, or if they were using that as their main source of meal. It's really not all that much cheaper than just buying a family frozen dinner. And just because it could last for several dinners, or it could be someone's dinner every night, also doesn't mean that it should. Now, I just want to be very clear, I'm not in any way trying to shame people for what they eat. Sometimes my dinner is a salad and smoothie. Sometimes my dinner is chicken fries from Burger King. I don't eat perfectly nutritious, well-balanced meals for every single meal of the day, and I've been known to eat cereal for dinner too. But advertising the fact that you can just be eating cereal for dinner as a way to, save money or whatever is insane, because it's not really a healthy alternative and it wouldn't be a nutritional dinner to be serving every single night, especially considering that most cereals these days are just filled with lots and lots of sugar. I honestly hate the way that society is set up, basically deeming poor people unworthy of eating nutritiously, because let's be honest, the reality for a lot of people is that junk food simply is more affordable. There's definitely been times in my life when I've been struggling a little bit for money, so I've had ramen noodles for dinner several different nights because it's cheap and easy to obtain. And I think it's disgusting that companies would use a person's inability to afford other foods as a way to just promote themselves. Naturally, this has caused lots of people to be upset with the brand and claim that instead of eating the cereal, we should just eat the rich. And it also has brought up the conversation of a boycott to essentially give them a small taste of their own medicine, beginning on April 1st and lasting through June 30th.
So yesterday the Kellogg CEO came out and said, oh, you know what, you guys are broke? Eat Frosted Flakes for dinner. That'll solve it all. After having the audacity to, explain that they've raised the price of all their products by 28% over the past few years because they could. They just want more profit. So my crazy ass idea was for 2 months, we protest these corporations. We start this April 1st, turning April Fool's Day into fuck you Fool's Day. We're no longer just gonna buy into this bullshit.
I heard another TikToker, however, talk about the issue and say that, well, the 3-month boycott really wouldn't be doing much good because you're essentially just telling the company, hey, we're not going to be using your products for 3 months, but then immediately go and return to using the products. And this TikToker suggested that a boycott should instead just be not using the brand at all indefinitely, or at least until they actually make an attempt to change things.
People are saying, here are all the Kellogg's products, let's boycott them. Now, one of the main people leading this boycott is someone on TikTok named Tall Girl, and she's saying, hey, let's boycott Kellogg's for 2 months to really let them know, hey, we're not happy and they're gonna feel it. Now, I agree that this is really upsetting, but this boycott situation seems so terribly set up. If you're gonna boycott a company, you don't tell them, hey, we're gonna boycott you for 2 months, slap on the wrist, and then we'll start buying you again. No, if people really wanna show Kellogg's, hey, we're upset, you need to stop buying their products forever. But that's my opinion. What do you?
I definitely have to agree with that to an extent. While halting the sale for 3 months could send them some form of message, I really don't think 3 months would be enough to really make or break them and cause them to really care what other people think. Because there's always going to be people supporting them and buying their products regardless. Take Starbucks, for instance. Lots of people started boycotting Starbucks when they were donating money to Israel in the whole thing with Palestine. But even after a while, people started claiming boycott fatigue and wanted to no longer be boycotting the company because they've released new holiday beverages and cups and people just wanted to get their hands on. So who's to say that people also wouldn't just get boycott fatigue from Kellogg's? Who's to say Kellogg's wouldn't release something that made people want to break their boycott and start supporting the company again? Of course, I'm not saying that people shouldn't boycott the company or that they shouldn't try. I'm just saying that I really don't think the companies care that much, especially a bigger company like. The reality of life is it's impossible to get every single person in the world on board, whether intentionally or not. Like, there could be a little old lady who knows nothing about what's going on still religiously buying all of the Kellogg's products. There could be people who just don't care about this whole situation still buying their products. You don't know what's going on, but the reality is there's always going to be people who are going to buy the products, and so the company might not even be really hurting them. I don't know, I just wanted to talk about the whole situation because I think it's absolutely insane. Obviously, who wants this rich person essentially tossing their products at all the peasants, you know, trying to just use other people's situations as an excuse to market their product? It obviously didn't go over that well, and as far as I'm aware as of now, like, Gary hasn't said anything about the boycott or said anything about like people being upset about this. He probably doesn't care. He's probably having like a nice lobster dinner on his yacht right now, bathing in the cash that he's bringing in, and he just, you know, he doesn't care. He's not eating cereal for dinner. He's doing just fine. I don't know though. I really don't know though. The whole situation is just absolutely crazy to me. I can't believe people like that actually exist and can say things like that and behave in that way, but that's the reality of things. I don't know, y'all can let me know your input on this situation. Maybe some people just don't think it's that deep, maybe some people don't give a fuck. I personally just think it was really out of touch and insensitive, and it was really a dick move. Like, don't sit there and say, hey, you're struggling financially, eat cereal for dinner, you know? That's not really helping the issue whatsoever, but I can't say I'm surprised. But that's all there really is to say about the situation. So I'll see you guys in my next video.